What is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. Backlash will be here before you know it, so count on Smackdown hyping the show as well as furthering the Intercontinental Championship Tournament. Join us now as Wrestlelamia analyzes the 29th May edition of Friday Night Smackdown, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Raw's new announcer, is Mike Tyson fighting Chris Jericho? A WWE Hall of Famer exits Twitter, Ric Flair sells out to the WWE, and more. As always, Wrestlelamia isn't going to recap the matches, but look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. The good. A touching tribute. The deaths of Shad Gaspard and Hana Kimura are still resonating with fans in the wrestling community, so it was touching for the New Day and Sasha to commemorate Hana and Shad. Sometimes even the smallest gestures can mean so much. AJ's no dummy. The Intercontinental Championship took a swerve when Elias and Jeff Hardy were deemed unable to compete, leaving AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan with the option of heading straight to the finals or wrestling a substitute opponent. Naturally, the babyface Bryan opted for the noble choice, offering to compete against someone. AJ played his heel role well, stating that he was taking a pass and heading straight to the finals. Styles' choice was a good way to remind fans that he prefers shortcuts whenever possible. A fun swerve. The Battle Royal was a good way to shake things up in the Intercontinental Championship Tournament, which has been surprisingly well done so far. The competition was executed perfectly, with the WWE not only using it to give Sheamus another chance at the title, but to set up a potential program between Cesaro and Shorty G. The Battle Royal was fun and also gave many WWE superstars, such as Shorty G and Jey Uso, the exposure they don't get every week. It's good to be the king, sometimes. King Corbin had a great night in the Battle Royal, eliminating 4 opponents until he was surprisingly eliminated by Jey Uso. King Corbin is a Teflon wrestler though, in that he can take loss after loss, yet stay as a significant upper-card wrestler. At some point, the WWE will have to decide whether they're going to push Corbin to the top or keep him at his current spot, but for now, he's doing fine. WWE Remembers. The Battle Royal to determine Daniel Bryan's opponent saw the announcers mention Shorty G and King Corbin's past history. The WWE often forgets the past, but it was good for WWE to show a sense of continuity. The bad. SmackDown's only bad segment was the angle where Jeff Hardy was arrested in a storyline DUI. The angle was distasteful in light of Hardy's past, and while it's obvious that he'll be cleared, the segment has already drawn criticism, including the following comment from Matt Hardy. Just to reiterate, I'm happy to be working at AEW Wrestling for Tony Khan on Wednesdays. WWE backstage analyst CM Punk seemed to think the angle was ridiculous, tweeting, "Lol, at the cop sniffing the full beer bottle that didn't get spilled, then saying Jeff Hardy like he's calling bingo numbers. I'm dying!" It was ridiculous and unnecessary. A stupid segment to an otherwise stellar evening, but then again, when has WWE ever let bad taste stop it? The downright ugly. With the exception of the awful Jeff Hardy DUI arrest segment, the rest of SmackDown excelled as it seamlessly wove its various storylines together from one strong storyline to another. The WWE did a tremendous job continuing the build for the Intercontinental Championship, launched what could be a brutal series between Lacey Evans and Sonya Deville, continued the Bayley Banks breakdown, and even hinted at a breakup between Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Even the Otis and Mandy Rose segment was enjoyable for what it was. Finally, Kurt Angle's announcement that Matt Riddle is heading to SmackDown was a good way to build interest in the NXT star, and the hype video accompanying the announcement didn't hurt either. SmackDown continues to entertain with a great array of talent, and it's enough to have us watching every week now. News. Mike Tyson fighting Chris Jericho? Boxing great Mike Tyson, a longtime wrestling fan, may finally step into the squared circle as a competitor in professional wrestling. If you caught Dynamite, you saw the confrontation between Tyson and Chris Jericho. Le Champion spoke with ESPN's Mark Raimondi about a potential match with Tyson, noting he'd work whatever match Iron Mike felt most comfortable with. He added, "But to me it's the build-up and the angle and all the things we can do. That's what wrestling's all about, the storyline. The match is the cherry on top, but it's the build that's really the most entertaining part, and the part that gets people really involved. So whatever it is that we decide to do as we move forward, it'll be great. you'll have one of the most iconic boxers and most iconic personalities of all time against one of the greatest pro wrestlers and personalities of all time. It writes itself. Jericho's comments show that he understands the most important aspect of wrestling when it comes to drawing a large audience, the build-up to the match, as opposed to the match itself. While fans obviously want a good match, a great build-up can make up for an average or even mediocre match. See Hulk Hogan vs. Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. Jerry Lawler's replacement on Raw. The latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Raw has a new announcer. Regarding Samoa Joe, he's still not cleared to return. However, he is also now considered the permanent replacement for Lawler as an announcer. What that means, if or when he is cleared, is that he may have the role where he announces and then they can shoot angles for him to wrestle using that, since those kind of angles usually do well. Things could also change if later there are depth issues and they feel they need to have him as a full-time wrestler, or he could mix the two. Joe is a superb announcer, and given his inconsistent push, he'd be much better off as an announcer unless he has to take a substantial pay cut. Mick Foley deletes Twitter account. Bad news if you enjoy Mick Foley's presence on Twitter. The WWE superstar has deleted his account, with WrestleTalk's Brian Joyce noting, Foley posted a tweet yesterday saying he needed some time away from the site. Currently, his Twitter account has been deleted. Social media can be a hotbed of hatred, and Foley isn't the first wrestler to leave Twitter. Judging from the way things are going, he may not be the last. Ric Flair no longer the man? Say it isn't so. Has Ric Flair decided to give up being the man after decades of boasting, to be the man, you've got to beat the man? According to an article by PW Insider's Steven Fernandez, on 5/18, WWE and Ric Flair came to an agreement where Flair sold all rights to two The Man trademarks that he tried to register in August 2019. Flair had done so in the wake of WWE marketing Becky Lynch as The Man, feeling those intellectual properties belonged to him based on decades of using that term in promos, and publicly stated in media interviews at the time that he felt he should be paid accordingly for WWE exploiting them to promote Lynch. It's good to see that the Nature Boy and the WWE have worked things out, and hopefully Flair's financial situation is better than it has been in the past. Who is the latest NXT wrestler heading to the main roster? Matt Riddle is heading to Smackdown, and fans can expect more NXT wrestlers on the main roster, with WrestleTalk reporting that Dominik Dijakovic will be graduating next. Who would you like to see jump from NXT to either Raw or Smackdown? Let us know in the comments below. WWE Performance Center Stalker returns. Disturbing news as Armando Alejandro Montalvo, aka the WWE Performance Center Stalker, seems to be at it again. You may recall a judge issued a permanent injunction in 2019 barring Montalvo from the property. However, according to court records obtained by Ringside News, during the filming of Raw, the WWE Performance Center's director of security was present. He witnessed defendant was present in or around the WWE Performance Center. More specifically, defendant was across the street from the WWE Performance Center pacing back and forth and holding what appeared to be a large wooden cross, approximately 4 feet high. After remaining near the premises for approximately 1 hour, defendant left without incident. The WWE filed court documents asking that Montalvo be held in contempt of court. Ringside News reported that Armando Alejandro Montalvo was spotted across the street from the WWE Performance Center on April 13th. He was carrying a cross and filming himself. WWE filed suit on April 20th. Hopefully the judge will take this case seriously, as the defendant has been given numerous opportunities to stay away. Darby Allin destroys WWE. AEW standout Darby Allin recently appeared on the AEW podcast Unrestricted and didn't hold back when it came to his thoughts on being offered a WWE tryout. They asked me if I was interested in coming down. At the time, I'm not trying to sound like I'm too good for it, but I was already, you either want me or you don't. I'm not going to sit here and be this clown. Then I thought about it, and I didn't want to go there anymore. I started to talk with Cody more and more. I was like, I see the writing on the wall. I'm not going to go there and play this game where I'd be a cruiserweight 205 live person. Then my body of work, my art, my promos would never see the light of day. I'm not going to play games. There are thousands of people there, and you forget they even exist half the time. I'm not going to be locked in a performance center. I made that very clear to Cody, and the rest is history. Darby Allin is the type of personality who could find his identity completely stripped in WWE, And while it's too early to tell what the future holds for him in AEW, it's unlikely he'd be doing anything substantial in WWE. Seth Rollins praises Austin Theory. Last but not least, 22-year-old Austin Theory has impressed fans with his performances on Raw, and apparently, he also caught the attention of Seth Rollins. Speaking with Sports Illustrated, the Monday Night Messiah revealed, "A little backstory to Austin Theory. He was a guy recently signed to NXT and kind of just fell into my lap. When WrestleMania was moved to Orlando and we had to make roster changes, Austin kind of slipped in there, and he made his WrestleMania debut at 22 years old. I had heard his name, but I never actually seen him perform. I watched him for the first time leading into WrestleMania, and I was so impressed by his poise, his work ethic, his style, and his presence. Then I found out how old he is, and I was even more in shock. I felt so disappointed in myself for thinking about how terrible I was at his age. I've kept an eye on him since, and I've put the feelers out there that, if he was available, I'd certainly take him. One thing led to another, and now here we are." Theory is showing a lot, and now that he's working with Rollins, he has the chance to get some valuable airtime on the Red brand. Well guys, there you have it, Wrestlemania's analysis of the 29th May Smackdown, as well as the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Did you watch tonight's show? If so, what did you think? Be sure to leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.